So recently I watched Nimona on Netflix, and all I gotta say is, the movie's pretty damn good. I recommend you go watch the film, but that doesn't mean the film is flawless. It does have some issues that bother me, but to be honest, it probably won't affect anyone else. So let's start off with the good, and once I'm done with that, I will switch to the bad. And one more thing, spoilers ahead. So if you want to go into this movie blind, leave now. This also isn't a recap, so here's a video if you want to recap on the movie, but let's get into it. The first thing I want to compliment this movie on is the art direction. This movie looks a lot like a graphic novel, and I personally have a soft spot for simple art styles like that. And it works in this film's favor really well. Not only that, but the city blends a futuristic and medieval aesthetic very well, and the only time I felt that it was too modern was the party segment, but that was about it. Another thing about the film that I liked was the characters, except for two. I will get to them later. Ballister as a character was great and made me feel sympathy for his situation. Ambrosius fits his role into the story really well. The director was a great villain, especially for this movie. And Nimona annoyed me a bit early on, but over time she grew on me. The next highlight for this movie is the comedy and action. Most of the time the comedy didn't bother me that much, but it did get a chuckle out of me a few times. But the action... oh boy, did I love the action in this movie. The animation team had that on lock. But now let's get on to the part of the movie that impressed me the most. The representation, surprisingly. I was kind of worried about this movie because most of the time when representation is brought up in film, it's usually used as a shield, but not for this movie. It actually feels natural and it works. They don't shove it in your face, they don't try to push it down your throat, they make it feel natural and it doesn't feel preachy in any way. Unlike Disney's representation. Ironic that Disney tried to cancel this when Blue Sky went under, only for Netflix to pick up the ball and slam dunk it. But back on track. The relationship between Ballister and Ambrosius is especially good, and I enjoyed watching them and their relationship on screen. But that's pretty much where the good stuff comes to an end. Now let's get to the stuff that I don't like or utterly hate. First things first, the plot. It's not pretty major, but the plot was pretty meh. I know it's about acceptance and that's pretty important, but the plot got flimsy in some areas and the acceptance message felt a bit forced at times. One of these instances of the plot bending is, how the hell did the director escape a prison sentence earlier on? Yes, Nimona can shapeshift, but I'm pretty sure that she posted the footage of the whole interaction, and Ambrosius is still alive. So how the hell did she worm her way out of that beyond a random scroll that says Nimona can shapeshift? Like, that's common information. The next thing on the bucket list, Sir Thaddeus. I know the point of Thaddeus is to be stupid, but Jesus Christ, he got on my nerves. The point of his existence is to be a douchebag and the punching bag. But he gets too damn annoying at times. Like, get out of this movie, dude. In the final act of the film, he hyped himself up, got his shit kicked in, and then disappeared from the film, only to show up at Nimona's memorial at the end of the film with a broken arm and puppy dog eyes. Stop the cap. You don't care. The next problem I have is Nimona's backstory, specifically with Glorith, because this didn't make any sense on rewatch. So, to sum it up, Nimona met Glorith when they both were kids, and Glorith was aware that Nimona can transform into different animals, and she loved hanging out with her. But one day, when they are playing, they get too close to Glorith's village, and the villagers freak out because a pink bear is playing with a little girl. But this is when the nonsense starts. They all have pitchforks in hand and move to attack her, only for Nimona to turn back into a girl. The villagers then start attacking Nimona as she obviously tries to get away, and she obviously lashes out, which unintentionally causes a fire in the village. Now, what do you think Glorith does after seeing all this? She picks up a wooden sword, points it at her friend, and tells Nimona to go back to the shadows from whence she came, because her parents said that she was a monster, even though Nimona is anything but that, and Glorith should be the one who knows this the most. In hindsight, there's no reason that Glorith should have ever done this, and it's by far the worst thing in the movie. But that's where I'm going to cut this off. In conclusion, Nimona is a really good movie with great action and comedy, some pretty good characters, and the representation to boot. But it's dragged down by some pretty big issues, but all in all, it does this movie justice. Like always, hit the subscribe button to see more videos from me, share this around so I can grow as a channel, and I will see you guys around.